Hey guys, welcome back. It's your boy Bully Maguire / Gerard Way MCR fanboy here to tread where no YouTuber has ever tread before. Today, I am going to give my truly honest opinions on Halo Infinite. Now, I know what you're thinking. No, I'm not really going to do the entire video like that. Yes, today I want to give my truly honest opinions about Halo Infinite, now that we've had the big reveal, and now that the dust has kind of settled from the reveal, and I've allowed my thoughts to kind of simmer for a little bit, like a good old chili. So yeah, let's waste no time and jump into it. So let's start off with the main point of contention from last year, and the main thing that 343 really needed to show had improved this year. The graphics. Well, to put it short, 343, you absolutely nailed it. It seems like Halo Infinite has finally managed to surpass the golden standard that is the Blur H2A cutscenes in terms of graphical fidelity. The in-engine cutscenes for Infinite genuinely at times look better than Blur's pre-rendered H2A cutscenes, which is nothing short of phenomenal. And then also, all of the raw, like, in-game and actual gameplay footage as well just looks fantastic. It looks really, really beautiful. I will say the graphics aren't entirely perfect at a distance. Things still don't look, like, truly amazing. But to be honest, I don't really care. I was never too bothered about the graphical things in the first place, to be honest. And I don't think Halo has ever been a game where, like, pure graphical fidelity is a main selling point, right? Like, obviously you had games like Halo 3 and ODST that had that fantastic lighting engine, but really, like, other than that, Halo's never relied on, like, raw graphical fidelity like games like Battlefield or Crysis do, for example, to sell them. That's never been a selling point. Halo's strength has always been in its hyper-stylized art style that gives everything a unique look and kind of breaks away from photorealism and photogrammetry and gives the game a genuinely unique look that can't really be replicated in other games, and that, in my opinion, ages significantly better than, like, photorealism. And it's very clear that Halo Infinite is taking us back to that art style, and I'm so happy to see it. Now, I'm not going to do like a full in-depth graphics comparison between last year and this year. If you want to watch a video like that, then Ubernick made a really, really good one recently. The link is in the description. Go and check it out if you want to, but the long and short of it pretty much is that, like, all of the graphical worries that I had, and that also the community had last year, have pretty much been addressed and then some. I mean, man, look at Chief, dude. Tell me this isn't the peak Chief design. I am a massive, massive Mark 5 stan, and also classic Mark 6 stan, but man, Mark 6 Gen 3, it's gonna make me act up. So yeah, in short, my opinions about the graphics are that they look absolutely beautiful and even exceeded my expectations, which is fantastic. The next thing I want to talk about is the campaign. Now, to start off with, I genuinely did not expect any campaign footage at all during this reveal, considering the entire thing was marketed on multiplayer, so the fact that we got campaign in and of itself is a bonus already, but I think the campaign itself and the story is looking, again, phenomenal. The story for this game is looking to be a really healthy blend of both the classic Halo stories, so Halo 1, 2, 3, and maybe some ODST, and then also the kind of approach that Halo 4 took Halo's narrative in. So clearly you've got, like, the badass one-liners and more stoic Chief of the classic trilogy, where he's really like a one-liner machine and good, more of like a pure, hardened, heroic character, and less talkative and emotional like he was in Halo 4. But then at the same time, you've also got the more emotional tones and the rather sad story beats of Halo 4's story, especially when pertaining to Cortana. Now, the more that I've rewatched this demo, the more I'm starting to think that Infinite really is like a very natural continuation of Halo 4's story and the tones and atmosphere that that game set up. In a way, it feels like more of a sequel, at least tonally, than Halo 5 did. But then, at the same time, it's also got so many elements of, like, the classic Bungie Halo stories. I mean, besides Chief's character, the main thing to me from the classic games that's present is the mystery. I mean, realistically, right, we've still seen very, very little of Infinite's campaign, and yet there's already so many questions that have been set up that we don't have answers to. Who is the Harbinger? Where is Atriox? Why did the Banished want control of Zeta Halo? Who deleted Cortana? Why was the weapon not deleted when Cortana was? where are the rest of the UNSC? This kind of storytelling is my absolute favourite, and I think it lines up really well with 343's approach to Infinite's campaign in that the game is semi-open world with a focus on exploration. It's like they want us to find out the answers to these questions ourselves via organic means like exploration, as opposed to having the game hold your hand and walk you down linear pathways into scripted events where characters just sit there and exposit the story details to you. It's a far more organic style of storytelling that I think obviously is kind of a natural facet of open world games because you have a choice in where you go. So yeah, to me right now, Halo Infinite's campaign is looking nothing short of phenomenal. I honestly cannot put into words how excited I am for this campaign. Right now my hype is at a solid 11 out of 10. I am so excited to explore Zeta Halo, you have no idea. And on the topic of campaign, how would you, yes, you, watching this video right now, like an infinite supply of Halo lore and knowledge to absorb via your mobile device, while working, while gaming, while relaxing, while working out, or you know, while grilling, eh? Sound good to you? Well, then today's incredibly iconic sponsor, Audible, is just the service for you. In case you couldn't already tell, there's this video game coming out later this year for the Xbox and the personal computer called I think it's Halo Infinity, something like that. And Audible is the best way to slurp up all the Halo lore that you need to prepare for its campaign. And new members can try Audible for 30 days free on us. Just head on over to audible.com/HiddenXperia or text HiddenXperia to 500 500 to start your 30-day free trial today and get access to thousands of audiobooks, original entertainment, and even podcasts included in the Plus catalogue. There's a whole library, get it, of Halo audiobooks on Audible, chock full of information about the Forerunners, the Flood, Zeta Halo, the Covenant, the UNSC, the Banished, and even the intrinsic and detailed lore about how Master Chief's suit So, to get prepped for Halo Infinite's campaign in the easiest, most enjoyable and convenient way, sign up for that 30-day free Audible trial today by going to audible.com/HiddenXperia, or, of course, by whipping out that same mobile device that you could be using right now to consume Halo lore and texting HiddenXperia to 500 500. Thank you to Audible for being a loyal and, dare I say, iconic sponsor of the channel. And let's move on and get talking about Halo Infinite's customization. So, my very short form thoughts first off for customization for Halo Infinite. I think it is looking bloody fantastic, to put it lightly. It's just looking like Reach's customization, but expanded, which is the direction that Halo's customization always should have gone in after Halo 4. And you know, it's really funny, actually, comparing the way that customization is being marketed for Halo Infinite and the way that it was marketed for Halo 5. For Halo 5, we got this incredibly condescending and, frankly, disgusting video that aimed to mock and invalidate anybody who had very legitimate concerns about Halo 5 taking Halo's unlock and progression system and watering it down to an RNG loot crate microtransaction-fueled system that just destroyed the armor and unlock system.
Secure your noise hole, soldier! Grown-ups are talking.
Damn it.
And then Halo Infinite is a total celebration of Halo's armor customization and also unlock history that aims to highlight what previous games did so well and build upon and expand them. The difference is absolutely night and day. Just major props 343. Talk about turning the ship around. However, with the game being free to play, microtransactions aren't entirely devoid from the experience. As much as it sucks, I mean, it was inevitable, right? We all knew it was coming, and one of the ways they're doing that is with a battle pass. Now, as much as I would rather have a different progression system, the battle pass is going in a very expected, but very, very good direction, if you ask me. Obviously, with MCC, we're all used to it now, having battle passes that never expire, that you can go back to and progress through whenever you want, regardless of what season it is, but you've got to remember, that is a completely new thing for gaming. There is no other game out there that does that. Every other battle pass for Apex, Fortnite, Warzone, every other game on the planet, Destiny, they're all quite predatory. They focus on FOMO and they encourage you to grind the game or lose what you paid for. And seeing Infinite go in the opposite direction is really, really good to see. In fact, it's quite funny. I'm already seeing articles being written about, like, for example, Apex Legends players already getting mad at Respawn and EA for not doing the same thing and trying to convince them to do the same thing with Apex's Battle Pass. And then, funnily enough, like literally seconds after I wrote this note in my script, I went into Twitter and saw this. Destiny fans are saying the same thing. So it's great to see people already catching on to this good system. It's also great to know that there's going to be a lot of armor and cosmetics unlockable via gameplay, challenges, and special events as well. Again, like the polar opposite of Halo 5. Halo 5 took everything and locked it behind soft paywalls and orangey loot crates. Halo Infinite is doing pretty much everything, which is fantastic to see. Although I do have one concern regarding customization, and that is for people who pay for the campaign. So the campaign is going to be full priced, even though it's just going to be a campaign. So I seriously hope that some of the features that were added to the multiplayer to compensate for the game being free to play are kind of eased up for players who bought the campaign, or at least people who buy the campaign need to get some sort of like cosmetic thing for free because they spent the money, right? Like whether it's like the first, I don't know, 10 battle passes for free or something, or a load of free cosmetics or something like that. I don't know what, but there needs to be quite a few tangible and worth it rewards for people who are willing to shell out the full price for just the campaign. Going back to the armor itself, I think the armor just looks incredible in Infinite, quite honestly. Gen 3 is absolutely beautiful. And again, it just looks to be like a very natural continuation of Halo Reach's Spartan aesthetic. But at the same time, they've not completely forgotten Gen 2 stuff as well. They've even taken some of the Gen 2 armor and Gen 3ified it to make it look insanely good as well. Now, I'll personally say that my personal opinion is that I cannot stand like 99% of Gen 2 stuff. The Gen 2 aesthetic, I could never get on board with. I never liked it. There was the odd armor here and there that I was like kind of fond of, but for the most part, I thought it was really ugly. But seeing elements and concepts taken from Gen 2 and put into the Gen 3 platform and kind of Haloified, if you will, is so good to see. Like I said in videos before, I thought Soldier in Gen 2 was so ugly, but Gen 3 Soldier looks absolutely beautiful. And the same goes for the new armors as well. I mean, Mark 7, that helmet is already a staple of Halo to me. I will genuinely say that Mark 7 helmet is one of the best helmets ever designed for Halo, like full stop. It's easily top 10, if not top 5. It looks so Halo, but so new at the same time. I think the coatings look fantastic as well. I mean, from dirt and wear and tear to a more pristine look and like even camo patterns, the coatings themselves look so damn good. But I still can't get on board with the system and the ethos behind them. Taking away color customization and for all intents and purposes locking it behind a paywall, regardless of how good the coatings look, that's a system that I will never be able to get behind. I will not support that system. I don't like it as much as I love how coatings look. One of my favorite new additions is AI customization, which is such a cool idea for customization and has literally limitless potential, right? I mean, you think about the amount of characters from Halo and also from other Xbox Game Studios games as well that would work so well as AIs. I mean, just off the top of my head, right? Superintendent, Black Box, Mendicant Bias, Johnson, Auntie Dot, Guilty Spark, Penitent Tangent, got Vega from Doom, Marcus Phoenix, Dom, Baird.
Your ass is gonna be quiet till your skink ass quit. Oh, mommy, don't let the bad man hurt us. Fuck you. We gonna whoop your mama's ass. Whoa!
There are just so many ideas here for Halo AIs and also crossover AIs that I really hope 343 tap into, because man, this is one of the coolest areas of customization that Halo has had in a long time. And actually, on the topic of crossovers, something that I'm hoping to see now that the Xbox Game Studios umbrella has a lot of things beneath it is more crossover armors with other games. Obviously, we had Hayabusa in the past, but now that we've got like Doom and Fallout and so many other games under the Xbox umbrella, there's so much potential there as well. I mean, I'm already seeing like a Vega AI, a Praetor suit armor set, Cog armor as Mjolnir, Fallout power armor as Mjolnir, and just so many other options. And also, one of my pipe dreams, you guys know very well that, as you can see back there, I'm a very big Metal Gear fan, and there are rumors of Kojima being in talks with Xbox. If if it ever happened, right? I know this is never going to happen, but if somehow it did, an MGS became an IP that Xbox had part ownership of or full ownership of, I would love so much to see a Grey Fox Mjolnir set. That's a dream come true, but hey, I can dream, right? A guy can dream. The only major downside that I see to customization, and it's not really a downside when you really think about it, is that it just sucks that none of this is going to apply to elites as well as Spartans. I mean, I think not having customizable elites is such a missed opportunity given how in-depth and incredible Infinite's armor customization is. Imagine if all of this stuff was applicable to elite combat harnesses as well. Like, man, the mind just goes crazy thinking about that. I think it really, really sucks that they're not in the game. Fingers crossed at some point we get them, because I would love to see this level of depth with customization be applied to elites as well. So, fingers crossed. And so that brings us to the final point for today, the multiplayer. Now, I'm going to be honest, right? I expected the campaign to be great. I expected the graphics to look fantastic, and I expected the customization to be fantastic as well. What I did not expect was for the multiplayer to look this good, nor be received the way that it was. Honestly, I thought that the multiplayer was going to be really dividing. I thought people were going to either love it or hate it, but the response seems to have just been like almost unanimous praise. Like, even from the more critical people that I know who I thought were going to just not like it at all, I'm seeing them saying they like it and they're looking forward to it. And it even also got the attention of some big personalities like streamers as well, which is very important for the long-term success of the game. Now, it's not perfect, and there are some things that I don't like, and we'll touch on that in a second, but let's talk about some things that I do like first. So, the new weapons, I think, look fantastic. Notably, the skewer and this bouncy, like, Promethean Foreigner-looking weapon. So, the skewer looks to be a fantastic take on a heavy weapon. It's not a sniper, it's not a rocket launcher, it's not a laser, it's truly a weapon in its own class. I think it looks visually incredible. It's got a great thesis for like why it exists and what it does and the role that it plays in the sandbox, and also it has a great firing effect as well. It's just an overall cool weapon that's unique and looks very fun to use. I love how it's a spike weapon that is insanely effective against both vehicles and also players alike, even if it's incredibly overkill to use on players with the size of that spike. But honestly, if anything, that overkill just makes it even more fun to use. And then the bouncy, like, Isaac Clarke plasma cutter weapon from Dead Space, which is, I'm just going to call it the plasma cutter for now, because it just looks like it functions the same way. Looks really, really cool. Kind of like the Scattershot 2.0, but the ability to change the way the weapon fires from horizontal to vertical is a really cool idea. I am so on board with vehicles returning to 4v4 and arena games. That is such a blessing. Reach in Halo 4 and Halo 5 felt kind of sterile in the arena department, given that it was just weapons and no vehicles at all. I think this is going to add like so much spice back to arena, and it's going to make the maps in arena far more interesting as well, especially when you consider the potential interactions that vehicles have with equipment. Previously in arena, it was just guns versus guns, that was pretty much it. But now we have interactions between guns and equipment, between equipment and vehicles, between vehicles and guns, between equipment and the environment, and vehicles and the environment, and so on. There's just so much more depth added by having vehicles present in 4v4, and it's such a blessing to see that make a return. And also, on the topic of equipment, I think so far the equipment is looking pretty good, but I do want to see more of it. Grapple is looking to be far more than just your regular video game grapple hook. The way that it interacts with weapons on the ground, with vehicles and fusion coils, is going to make it so much more unique compared to other games in the way that they handle their grapple hooks, and it's going to allow for tons of crazy play potential. The same goes for the repulsor as well. There is so much outplay potential there with that thing, as long as it's not easy to use. That is one thing that I do worry about with the repulsor. I really hope that the timing needed to kind of reflect a plasma pistol bolt or a projectile of some kind is kind of similar as the timing needed to pull off a BXR in Halo 2, so it's really hard to do. The timing has to be absolutely like almost frame perfect, but when you do, you're rewarded. I think the threat sensor and the drop wall look alright. They don't really do anything for me personally. They're kind of cool, I guess, but I wouldn't say that I'm exactly enthused by them. I am hoping as well that we get some like Halo 3 style neutral equipment as well, because almost all of Halo 3's equipment, when you look at it, affected both friend and foe equally, right? Which meant that you had to be more thoughtful in how you used it. So, for example, if I throw a bubble shield down, somebody can enter my bubble shield, kill me, and take control of it and use it for themselves, and that doesn't appear to be the case so far with most of the equipment besides the drop wall. Infinite's equipment so far seems very user-focused and at absolute best team-focused with the threat sensor, which I think could make it less interesting, but we'll have to see what other pieces of equipment they've got and how they evolve over time. I still don't like the fact that sprint and clamber and ADS and slide are in the game. However, the silver lining here is that there appears to be a significantly lower focus on these abilities as opposed to a game like Halo 5, where the entire game literally revolved around them. The map design, the sandbox, everything revolved around them, and that doesn't look to be the case for Halo Infinite. Rather, now they do just seem for the most part like options, and it's very clear the game doesn't revolve around them. Sprint, for example, looks to be so unbelievably slow compared to the base movement speed in Infinite that it really does make me wonder why they even bothered adding it. I mean, I get the reason is just to tick a box and to be able to tell people like, yeah, you can sprint in Halo Infinite, but like, I don't know, it looks so useless, and also the fact that you can fire almost straight from sprint is really good as well. There's no more awkward time where you sprint around a corner into an enemy and you have to wait for like a second or two to raise your weapon. None of that anymore. There's instant sprint to shoot time, which is a very good change, even for somebody like me who still strongly dislikes sprint. BTB 2.0 is looking frankly amazing, although the one thing I'll say is I am pretty disappointed that it's only 12v12. I was expecting at least 20v20, if not bigger. I mean, we had 12v12 with Halo 5 Warzone in 2015. I don't think 12v12 is exactly anything to shout home about, but the mode itself does look really fun, so we'll have to see and wait and see how it plays. I do hope, though, that over time, as support for the original 2013 Xbox One is inevitably dropped, that this player cap can get lifted, because I imagine that player cap is due to that console. The removal of red versus blue is something that I honestly can't make my mind up about yet. Like, obviously red versus blue is iconic from like a nostalgia point of view, and losing it does suck in that regard, but that's nowhere near as important as the actual like functionality of it. The nostalgia aspect is irrelevant compared to how it functions, right? Like, at the end of the day, regardless of nostalgia, what matters is how clear and concise and easy it is to identify friend from foe. And obviously if it does it better than red versus blue, then it's a better system, but at the end of the day, if it's not easier to identify them, regardless of the extra player expression that comes with it, I would say the system isn't as good. But like I said before, this is something that we're really going to have to just wait for flighting to test out ourselves and see how effective it is, because looking at it in a trailer doesn't really do much. The only things that kind of concern me about this game in general right now are just the lack of release dates and flighting dates that we got. I mean, the way that I see it is, if games like Elden Ring and Starfield can give us actual specific release dates as far as a year and a half out from launch, then I don't see any reason why Infinite couldn't have done, but I assume that's because 343 have still got quite a lot of work to do, and they don't want to nail down a release date and then have to pull a Cyberpunk and delay it again. I understand that. It just would have been nice to know, at least like a month, like December or November or something. And also with flighting, late summer is leaving it a bit late, I think. I was expecting it to start like in the next few weeks, but again, I guess we don't know what the development pipelines are like. They might have a lot of work to do behind the scenes. I'll just leave 343 to decide on that themselves, because they know more than I do. So, those are my thoughts on Halo Infinite. I'd say overall, I am very, very, very happy with how Infinite looks just across the board. I don't think the community has been this unanimously excited since probably Halo 3, to be honest with you. It's very, very nice to see. Obviously, we don't know how good the game is, like, for real until we play it ourselves. That's going to be the true test, but for now, things are looking pretty damn good. Although, one request, right? Can we please stop saying Halo is back? Just please. Every bloody time people start saying, oh, Halo's back, dude. Halo never ends up being back. It's like Halo, people saying Halo is back always precedes a game launching badly or not being as good as we think. So please, can we just all agree to not jinx it and not say Halo is back? Please? Thank you very much. And so, with that very important PSA out of the way, I'm going to round this video out here. I want to give a massive thank you to Hayden Crestani for becoming a new Primordial, to Soggy Salad and Louden Doney for becoming new iconic ones over on Patreon, and to my man Koga for donating a double iconic one at $100. My man, you are an absolute legend. Holy shit, that tier doesn't even exist. Thank you very much, man. I cannot thank you guys enough. All of you guys over on Patreon are absolute legends. I love you all so much. And thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I'll catch you all in the next one.